Today is the day that I am continuing with my PC build. So as you could have seen in December, I started with my PC build and I managed to turn the PC on, and I could see in the BIOS that everything was okay. And then I continued in March with the connecting the remaining fans, and I did also update the BIOS to the latest version. And now it's time to install Windows. I will install Windows 11 Pro. Why do I install Windows and not, for instance, Linux? That's a good question. I do love Linux. I use Linux every day at my work. And my old PC I reinstalled last year with Ubuntu 24.04, and I might also install Ubuntu on this new PC, but many of the tools, many of the programs I use are Windows based, like FL Studio, Adobe Creative Suite, and many more. And also I like to play video games. Well, I haven't played a lot lately, but still. And that are some of the reasons why I install Windows. And maybe on a later time, when Ubuntu 26.04 comes out, I will make it do bootable. Yeah, that should work. And so now it's time for installing Windows 11 Pro. Yes. And well, let me actually show you the PC. This is the big case, and I have connected this little keywords that will help me. And then also here we have this big TV connected. So yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's turn it on. Let's also turn on the screen. Well, TV actually. And let's see whether we can start the installation. Okay. Exit. Yes. Why is it returning into the BIOS? Don't know. Maybe I need different keyboards for this. Doesn't see the USB that I put in. Let's question is why. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, now it can find it. All right, one step further. And maybe I should put this a little bit higher. So, I guess that's better. And okay, we have to start in Dutch. Later on, I will change the language into English, but for now, it needs to be Dutch. And here in the Netherlands, we use the United States International Keyboard Layout. And let's install Windows 11. And I will now fill in the product codes. Okay. Let's continue. Now I have 3 SSDs. I have a 2 terabyte one, I have a 1 terabyte SSD, and I have 4 terabyte 4 terabyte SSD. Now the 4 terabyte one I will use for games. Then I have left the 1 and the 2 terabyte disks. And I have to check which one I was planning to use for the C drive. Probably the 1 terabyte one. Okay, I have thought about this and we will install Windows. The C drive will be the 1 terabyte SSD. And then the 2 terabyte SSD, we will assign that one for projects. And on a later stadium, it could also become the place where we install Linux for the dual boot setup. So this one, the 1 terabyte, will be for Windows and also for the programs. Yeah, these are the program files. Yeah, let's install. And this can take a while. But systems nowadays are fast. I mean, this is a really fast setup. So yeah, it's if you look at what the components are, it's a great system. It's fantastic. Okay, we have restarted the system. The system restarted, and we now can continue. Yeah, I am in the Netherlands, and this is the right keywords. No seconds. Well, of course, this is not really difficult. Yeah, updates are obviously really important. And this is should come with a I think I can see that here. With which version of Windows 11 it should come. Well, I think I saw it somewhere, but no, I can't find it back. But anyhow, having an up-to-date operating system, having your updates installed is always really important. Okay, now we have to give the PC a name. And I have to think about this one. I have decided to name my PC W11 D01. PC Windows 11 Desktop 1. Okay. Now I want to bypass the Microsoft account. On my keywords, I press Shift F10 and type. Can I type? Yes. OOBE backslash by pause and RO. Now the PC will reboot, and then hopefully after reboot we can get the I don't have internet option. Because what I want a local account without having to set up a Microsoft account. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, now I can select I have no internet. And I can put in my name. And I will use my own name. Arjan or Ari, well, I will do Arjan. And then of course I put in a password that I can remember. Something like and you have to confirm your passwords. Now these security questions are actually a security risk. Now of course this is for not for a company but for my own, so there is a little bit of less risk, I would say, but you have to answer these questions. And my advice is to not fill in the actual answer to the question, but use something random and then store it into maybe a keypass database. And the answer should be long enough, but also not too long. I mean, I don't know how many characters I can put in, but if I would say put in 64 characters, that is a lot of characters you have to type, because obviously you cannot copy paste. So I will probably go for 16 characters answers to the questions and then store them into a keypass database, which is accessible for me from multiple places. You also need to have backups of such a database for, you don't know what will happen in the future. Yeah, we are done with the security questions, and I saved the answers into my KeyPass database, which is also synced with my Google Drive, and I will also store it somewhere else. Now we get into the next part of the configuration. Usually with these questions, I will always select no and no, only what's really needed. I want to give to Microsoft. Here, also always select no. No. Yeah, my advice is not to give more than what's really needed in information. So as you can see, I'm now logged into my Windows system, and you can see that it's now on version 24H2. Yeah, it's still in Dutch. I will change it into English later on. The first thing I want to do is update my drivers and then see whether there are any updates for Windows to be installed. And whether the system is stable, and that's it for today. But let's first see whether we can install some drivers. As we can see, there are quite some drivers. Not sure whether I want to have Norton installed, probably not. Dropbox also will not install. The rest is okay or actually needed. Let's install. Now this will obviously take some time. In the meantime, let's look up the Windows updates. And also check here. So we can see my CPU. I have 64 GB RAM. And I also see it's my RTX 5080. And that all looks good. So yeah, I will install these updates and reboot, and yeah, make sure I get it up to date. And as said, Norton I won't install. I will install a different antivirus program. And we can talk about that on a later time. So, there I am again. Today went very well. I would not have expected any issues. It's just that you need to take some time to work on such a project. And that time I took, and yeah, it's a matter of doing it, basically. Now, if I shoot another episode, it might be about doing software installations and configurations of these software programs. But yeah, we'll see whether another episode is actually needed. Maybe. Well, yeah, we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching. As always, it's a pleasure to make these kind of videos. I hope that it was of use for you. I did give some tips about some of the things. And yeah, if you like these kind of videos, you can give me a thumbs up, and you can always subscribe. It all helps, as I always say, with the YouTube algorithm, and also for the growing of our channel. And then I hope to see you next time on the RX Quest Vlog. Bye.